We can move on, Mayor, now.
Okay, thank you. We just came out of closed session. The time is 1:36. Today is Tuesday, March the 9th. Welcome back to those who may be watching via YouTube. We're on to our next subject, which would be delegations and presentations, and there is none at this time. So now we're on to staff and committee reports. Would be R2, would be Candace White, our CAO Clerk Treasurer. And this is regarding our 2021 pay equity plan and adoption of the 2021 salary band. Please, Candace.
Thank you, Mayor. Matthew Savino from SHRP was a consultant that was retained by the township in order to take a comprehensive approach to pay equity for the township, as well as taking a look at the salary band structure and the job evaluation tool that's been used. The last time this was done was in 2013. So 8 years later, it was time to take another fresh approach and a fresh look at this to ensure that the township is in a stable position from a recruitment and retention level and perspective. So I am looking for council's approval to adopt the pay equity plan as prepared and recommended by SHRP, as well as the updated 2021 proposed salary grid, as well as a job evaluation tool as described in the report and then in further detail in the previous closed session. So I'll leave it with council for any questions.
Council, any questions at this time on this R2? We had a lot of talk about this, so seeing no questions, then I'm looking for a motion then that we receive and adopt as presented, please. Deputy Mayor Burt, Councillor War, all in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. R3 would be Candace White, our CAO Clerk Treasurer again, and this is a report regarding requirement under the Ontario regulation PSAP. Please, Candace.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is a housekeeping report. It comes forward annually prior to final audit each year. It is a reporting requirement under OREG 28409, which is the PSAP recording requirement. Basically what this is we have to report that the 2021 budget does not include future post-closure landfill or future employee benefits and amortization. Those three components are not included in the adopted municipal budget in which we set tax rates for. And you can see that the amortization expense, if we were to actually budget that, you can see 1.5 million. So we're looking at 25% of our budget would be added back in. There is no need to be budgeting that. It is standard practice across Ontario municipalities under PSAB that we do not budget. It is a change in accounting reporting when PSAB came in 2009. As well as landfill post-closure and post-employee liabilities. We don't have anything to report to council at this time. So this motion is just recognizing that council is aware that the 2021 adopted budget does not include those three identified items. I'll leave it with council for any questions, Mayor.
Okay, any questions? It's like what was mentioned, it's basically a housekeeping, so. Is everybody familiar with the motion that we're looking for on this? If not, we can repeat it easily. All right, no questions. All right, I'm looking for the motion then, please. Councillor Walsh, seconded by Deputy Mayor Burt. All in favor? And that's carried for R3. R4 then would be a report. Is Ed going to join us here?
Yes.
There he is. He's coming on board. So this R4 is Ed Whitmore, our Chief Building Official Planning Coordinator, and this has to do with a consent file B9-21/Bailey. So Ed, you've come on board just in time, and Perfect. The floor is yours, sir.
Okay, so this is a bit of a complicated little lot addition. So the application B-9-21, so it's been submitted by the Baileys. It was for 12 and a half meters, and that's about 41 feet and an area of 0.12 acres. And so this is just a residential lot addition. When we look on our GIS map, it looks like the driveway of the current lot that this is going to merge onto encroaches onto the bit of the farmland. So a little bit of their lawn and a little bit of the driveway kind of encroaches over onto the Bailey farmland. So that's the whole reason why they want to do this lot addition, I guess. So previously, we did a cul-de-sac, the township did, at the end of Robert Road, and we created 2 lots off of the cul-de-sac. We had water and sanitary laterals installed, and since then 1 house has been built on it, and the other lot was sold, and I presume it'll be built on too. Having done that cul-de-sac and those 2 lots, we left enough frontage so that we could enter into this Bailey farm as a future access to probably a residential subdivision in the future. And so reviewing the GIS maps, at first glance, this severance appeared all okay. And then I turned on, we have a special layer on the GIS county maps. It's called surveys and plans. And I turned that on, and there you go. You have these township drainage easements running through there. And so I created a couple GIS maps. So the one GIS map showed that the 12.5 meter proposal only leaves you less than 13 meters of frontage for us to get a municipal road in with water and sewer and possibly storms as well. So that's no good for the township. So what I came up with was a proposal that creates a 7.16 wide lot addition, and it doesn't eat into any of the easement that we would have for the drainage that's required from the township, because all the water and stuff drains on out this way through the farmland. And it leaves us exactly 20 meters of road allowance for the future road and the water and the sanitary and all the rest of it to go through here. So I was either going to come up with a report that denied this application and recommended that, or come up with a solution that would still work for the township, leaving us the minimum 20 meters of road allowance that's required. So that's what I'm putting forward today, is to give us at least 20 meters and see what your decision is. I put on the 2 GIS maps for this report. The notice of the application, I give you the consent application, how they submitted it, the preliminary severance review, and the municipal appraisal form for council's consideration. And so if you do pass the municipal appraisal form, I would attach this GIS map with it to say, this is what we're talking about, this is what we would permit, and we would like them to change their application to allow that. If it does go through later on, it would require a zoning amendment, because the township zoning on the property is rural and it's being joined onto a residential 1 lot. So we would have it changed from rural to residential 1, the lot addition, and then we would also have them do a merger agreement so that they wouldn't be able to sell this lot addition separately. It would have to all be sold as 1 property. So if there's any questions, and this report was probably one of the hardest consent reports that I've done to come up with a solution.
Yeah, good work, Ed. Thank you. And I know it is complicated, but we'll get through this. We can't have everybody pleased at one time or another, but we're doing the best that we can for our township and future needs. So questions from council at this time? Deputy Mayor Burt, please.
Yes, thank you, through you, Mayor. Thank you very much, Ed. I know I was very confused at first when I read this, and I did get some clarification, and so thank you for that. And I guess just my question is, you have proposed the minimum 20 meters. Is staff comfortable with 20 meters as the minimum at this time? You know, moving forward, I'm hoping the 20 meters is enough, but where do you stand from a staff perspective, looking 10, 15 years down the road?
That's the standard throughout all of municipal roads.
Okay.
The 66 feet is our standard road allowance. So it's throughout pretty much all Ontario,
Okay.
unless it's a forced road.
Right.
Then those are vary.
Yep.
Thank you for that. Any other questions from council at this time? Councillor Walsh, please.
Through you, Mayor. So, Ed, if I understand this, what you're kind of proposing is helps us with not having an impact on future development. So we have access to that road. It keeps our drainage easement still available to us.
Yes.
So we're going to propose back to them that we will approve this using the second GIS map that you showed us today, and hoping that the applicant will be agreeable to that.
They either will agree or the county of Peterborough probably will deny it, one or the other.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, thanks. Any other questions from council at this time? Okay, so then I'm asking for a motion then from council then that we motion to approve and then to direct to forward this appraisal form to county planning. Do I have a motioner for that? Deputy Mayor Burt and Councillor Archer. Any other discussion on the matter? All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you, Ed. As complicated as that is, I know there was lots of questions behind the scenes for you, and thank you for your time on that one.
You're welcome.
Okay, number 5, R5 then would be Kyle Beacock is our wastewater operations manager, and this is regarding our drinking water quality management standard operational plan updates. Kyle, the floor is yours, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. So this report, just kind of bringing it to you for information. It's just regarding our DWQMS op plan. I'm sure you're aware, but for us to operate and maintain a drinking water system here in Ontario, we have to be an accredited operating authority. In order to do that, we have to basically have an approved drinking water quality management standard. The op plan is part of that. It addresses those 21 elements of the requirement. We're always kind of tweaking and trying to make it better, but it's been a while since we brought it, and there were some more significant changes this past fall with the township bringing it the operations in-house with taking away from Peterborough Utilities there. So there were some more significant changes, and we thought it would be a good time to just bring it back to council for an update and kind of a blessing, and just so you guys were made aware. It always kind of comes up to in the audits, you know, whether council has been apprised of the newest endorsed operational plan. So good time to bring it forward. Yeah, so if there's any questions regarding the report or the plan or the 21 elements, I'd be happy to take them.
Thank you, Kyle. So is this a good time to say that Big Brother's watching us? Is that how that works?
Always, he always is.
Yeah. Okay, council, yeah, that was an in-depth one too on this. A bit of a housekeeping also on this, but well worth the read. Any questions from council at this time on the report? Okay, seeing no hands then, I'm looking for a motion then to receive that report for information then, please. Councillor War, seconded by Councillor Walsh. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Okay, next would be R6. Kyle, again, please, our wastewater operations manager. And this is regarding our Norwood Drinking Water Systems Compliance Inspection Report.
Yes, so just kind of another housekeeping item. We always bring these to council when we get them, but it's basically for your information just on the compliance inspection results from the most recent inspection of the Norwood drinking water system. That occurred on October 8th, 2020. I found with the pandemic right now, we're a long time getting stuff from the ministry. So nobody's fault, just kind of the way things are right now. So we'd only got that just back about 6 weeks ago or so, somewhere around there. So anyways, yeah, we got our compliance rating was 91.58%. Obviously, we're always striving to get 100%. This was due to those samples that had been missed that council was already aware of due to our schedule or our section 11 reporting. So that's where we got hit. With that, we created a work order. So every week it'll ding my phone. Or if I don't fill the work order out, it'll ding my phone to kind of remind me, hey, have the samples been delivered this week? So just putting things in place to ensure that that never happens again, although that was a one-off. So yeah, if there's any questions regarding the inspection process or the results or the report, I'm all ears.
Yeah, thanks for that, Kyle. Yeah, that was a good read also. And yeah, good job. Well done for your percentages. Questions, Deputy Mayor Burt, please.
Thank you through you, Mayor. And once again, really no questions, but on that report and the previous report, just a big thank you goes out to the staff. It's a ridiculous amount of paperwork that you have to do. And it's a lot of work to bring these reports together. Kyle's laughing. I assume ridiculous amount of paperwork is an understatement. Anyway, it's a big job to keep us informed and answer our questions. So just a thank you to you and your staff that brings that all together, and great reporting. And we are all responsible for the water in the village, so it's good to see we're in good hands. So not a question, just a comment. Our
pleasure.
Yeah, great comment. Any other comments? I take it from council here. I don't think we'd have many questions, but
No.
All right, seeing none, then I'd be looking for a motion then to receive this report for information only then too, please. Motion by, oh, so many hands. Deputy Mayor Burt, please, and Councillor Archer. Second it. All in favor, please. And that's carried. Thank you. So next it would be R7, Kyle again, and this has to do with the tender that we had for 2021-04. Lions Park submersible sewage pump results, please.
All right, now's when we come looking for money. So this one's for your information, and also looking for you guys to award the submersible sewage pump tender to Xylem, Company of Canada, based out of Toronto here. So that's 2021-04, and that's for the sewage pump. $32,622.30, including GST. So a bit of background, if you guys don't know, Lions Park, it's the main pumping station here downtown by the town hall. It takes all the flows from the entire village, and it sends them to the wastewater plant for treatment. We've been trying to strive to get some redundancies built into the system here, some extra pumps and stuff, so that there's a long lag time on a lot of these items. So with that being the main pumping station, and just with the growth and more flows, and if you go down a pump there, it would be really touch and go, and we can't really be without one for a long time. So we've also purchased this year a spare VFD. That's what drives the pump. So with the purchase of this pump, if anything happens there, we'll kind of be ready to go within kind of a day or two type thing. So we only did have the one submittal on the tender, that being Xylem. They're a reputable company. They've been doing this for a long time. They're an industry standard for sure. Being the fact that they're out of Toronto, they've got a full shop right there. So when you do have to send something out, you're not waiting a long period of time. They helped us out this year with a pump at the wastewater plant. And actually they were able to source us a pump in Winnipeg and gave us a loaner while they repaired the other one for about a week or 2 weeks, I guess it was. Maybe even a little longer than that actually. But anyway, so helped us out of a jam. And yeah, I was glad to see that their bid came in quite reasonable and under our budget price. So we had budgeted 38,000, came in at 32 and change, less the HST rebate. So looking pretty good, and we're looking for council to award that tender.
Okay, thanks, Kyle. And when you say the number fast, it doesn't sound as expensive. And, the other thing that I wanted to compliment you on is the thoroughness of your reports. It doesn't leave a lot of room for questions because you've pretty well answered them all. So, any questions or comments from council on this report then? Councillor War, thank you.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor. Again, Kyle, thank you for the reports. It was in depth and all of the reports, and I'm really happy to see that this pump came in under budget. It's nice to see that taxpayers' money, even on a capital expenditure, it came at a good price, and that it's really a local supplier as well. So thank you, and I'm happy to make the motion to accept this.
Okay, so we have the motion on the floor. I need a seconder then, please. Okay, Councillor Walsh, and just a comment before I ask for all in favor. Candace, this actually doesn't actually hit the taxpayers though. It's just the water rate payers that would actually hit. Is that not proper?
Yes, actually the wastewater budget, yeah, it doesn't hit the tax levy at all.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, just for clarification on that.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
that's
Fair
perfect.
enough.
Okay. So we have the motion duly seconded. All in favor then, please. And that's carried unanimous. Thank you. And thank you very much, Kyle.
Excellent. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
All right, sir. Next would be R8. And just looking for, there he is. I see him now. R8 would be Jeff Walden, our Manager of Public Works and Environmental Services. And this report is regarding tender 2021-03, 2021 gravel crushing results. Jeff, the floor is yours, sir.
Right. Good afternoon, everybody. It's I let Kyle take the lead with the tender just to test the waters, I guess, to see. But anyways, yeah, it's always a great sign of spring when we see the gravel crushing tender. So this year, as part of our 5-year cycle, we're graveling the east end, which is basically from County Road 45 to the 12th line and all the roads in that block, sort of deal. February 22nd, we opened the tenders. We had 2 bidders, Dowdy Aggregates and Drain Brothers, as you can see in the report, with Drain Brothers being the low bidder. I think that the price went up approximately 10 cents a cubic yard from last year's tender price. And which is kind of, it gets pretty repetitive. With our gravel cycle, we typically crush between 7,000 to 8,000 cubic yards annually. So the price is pretty consistent with just how it works out with our cycle as well. And as I've stated before in previous gravel crushing reports, the number can be manipulated with the quantity on the road or how much we stockpile. If we're running short on the road, we can stockpile less, or vice versa. So we
Hey,
so
Jeff.
just able to stay within budget. So.
No, that's great. It's a good report. We're going to be going into a public meeting here. I just wondered, the report was pretty self-explanatory. Was there any questions from council at this time on that report? Not to rush it, Jeff, but seeing no questions at that time, looking for a motion then to receive for information and then to award the tender to Drain Brothers then, please.
I'll make a motion.
Councillor Archer, thank you. Seconded by Deputy Mayor Burt. All in favor? Thank you very much. See, Jeff, you didn't have to say that number so quick, but we still got it passed for you. Thank you. All right, we're just going to wait for 2 o'clock, and there now it's just turned 2 o'clock. So I need a motion then to suspend council at this time so that we could, regular council meeting, so that we may go into a public meeting at this time, which is 2 p.m. for March the 9th, 2021. Looking for that motion. Councillor War, seconded by Deputy Mayor Burt. All in favor? And that's carried. So I'm looking for, well, first of all, I'm going to say thank you for joining us, staff and council. We have a full complement of council at our public meeting, and a welcome to those of you who may be tuning into us via YouTube or on a pre-recorded version of this council meeting at this time. I'll ask for a declaration of any pecuniary or interests that may be pertaining to this public meeting. Seeing no hands, then there'd be none. And would we need a motion for today's public meeting agenda, then? No? Okay, thank you. So then notification then, I'll have Ed, you would have the floor on this then, please, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so notification of the complete application and the notice of this public meeting concerning the proposed zoning bylaw was provided in accordance with the Planning Act. It was sent by first-class mail to all property owners within 120 meters of the subject property. It was also posted on the property itself. So the notification was sent electronically to all the applicable agencies. It was posted on the township website for the general public as well. The overall, or the overview of the proposed application, the existing zoning of the property is commercial exception 3 zone. And so what they wish to do is to permit a 2% lot coverage. And this is needed to accommodate future growth and expansion of the existing business. They want to build right now a storage building. And I don't know if anybody's been by, but they had a lot of dinosaurs, that type of thing, that they've purchased, and they have a drive-through dinosaur park. They need to house these dinosaurs, and they need to repair them and store them, that type of thing, during the inclement weather. And so that's the whole purpose primary for this new storage building. This 2% lot coverage that's being proposed will help with a little bit of additional growth without having to come back to go for an official plan amendment and for another zoning bylaw amendment. Right now, the official plan says that they're limited small scale, medium scale type of commercial businesses and industrial businesses. And so if they ever go gigantic with more than this 2%, like Peterborough County felt that they could live with this 2% without having to go through an official plan amendment. MTO was quite happy with allowing this 2% without going through an official plan amendment. And all the information in the report I've included. We've had a few recent things come in, but the attachments that were included was the zoning bylaw amendment application itself, and then there was the notice of the application and the notice of the public meeting. We had a site plan and some construction plans. Normally I don't attach the site plan and construction plans, but because I had them, I put them in there just so that the information is available for you. This zoning bylaw amendment, it's applicable to the subject lands known as Part Lot 15 Concession 1, and it's in the former township of Asphodel Township. It has a municipal address of 2206 County Road 38. And so before I go any further into the report, I just want to read the notice here that if a person or public body does not make oral submission at the public meeting or make written submissions to the Township of Asphodel-Norwood before the bylaw is passed, the person or public body is not entitled to appeal the decision of the Township of Asphodel-Norwood to a local planning appeal tribunal. Also, if a person or public body does not make oral submissions at the public meeting or make written submissions to the Township of Asphodel-Norwood before the bylaw is passed, the person or public body may not be added as a party to a hearing of an appeal before the local planning appeal tribunal, unless, in the opinion of the tribunal, there are reasonable grounds to do so. And the last notice is if a person wishes to be notified of this decision, the person must make a written request to the Township of Asphodel-Norwood. Okay, so just having to get those notices, that little speech there put out of the way, just to make everything according to the Planning Act. So back to the attachments. So Enbridge Gas distribution provided comments with no concerns. The Peterborough Distribution Inc., again, no concerns. We've had comments come in from Orca, and I've attached these. I'll just flip to them right now. So there probably was questions on this because their report is quite lengthy. So it is. It's 2 pages. It's very thorough and in depth, and we appreciate all that they do for these reports, because I know there's a lot of work involved in it. But number 1 of their report, it shows that the submitted topographical survey indicates that the proposed development will not be, or the proposed development will be located outside of a known floodplain. So it is the opinion of Orca Conservation that the application is consistent with section 3.1 of the provincial policy statement. So that's good. And just to add to that, like it is, the development is located outside of a known floodplain. So the existing zoning on the property, the entire property is the C1-3, the commercial 1 exception 3. That's the entire property. So there is no rural zone on it. There's no EP, environmental protection zones, on this site. This site is high and dry. So it has a very large hill running through it. And I turned on the GIS mapping that the county has is amazing. It has topographical lines on it that it shows that at the top of the hill, the measurement was at 240 meters. And at the bottom, down by the highway property line near Highway 7, it's at 210 meters. So that's a 30-meter drop from like the top of the hill down towards the highway. That's 98 feet of a drop slanted down towards the highway for the entire area that is going to have this development in it. And this is where all the buildings are and everything. So it's a nice slope. And so when we go farther into the report of Orca, and so that information is necessary just to know that there's no EP, and it's very high, and it slants towards the highway. And so they go on, Orca goes on to say that the GIS mapping, so it indicates that this development may be located within 65 meters of a key hydrological feature. Wetland or watercourse. So the key word there is may be located within a wetland or watercourse, but when you turn on all the aerial views that go way back to 2002 all the way up through to 2018, and looking at the topographical surveys that the county provides, there is no watercourses or wetlands on the property, absolutely zero. So their opinion was Conservation Authority has not yet, or the application has not yet demonstrated conformity with the growth plan due to there may be something on a feature of a wetland or watercourse on this property. And so to me, it was very evident that it may not, 99.9999999%, it has no water features on this. Every property has a little bit of swales here and there, sheet drainage towards the Highway 7 or whatever is how I would say this site is. Water and wetlands are not, and water courses are not an issue in my mind. So that was number 2. Number 3, it goes on to say that the Conservation Authorities Act, so any development, interference, or alteration with a flooding hazard, erosion hazard, a water course, a wetland, and their adjacent lands requires a permit from the authority, from the Conservation Authority. And so the same item number 3, autonomy conservation mapping indicates the area of development is not subject to Ontario Regulation 16706. So development interference with wetlands and alterations to shorelines and watercourse regulations. And in bold writing, they write, permits for the new storage building will not require a permit will not be required from this agency. So they have absolutely no concerns with the storage building being built, because in their mind there is no interference with a wetland or alteration or shorelines or watercourses according to their regulations. So that's awesome, because it'll just make life a lot easier. And then number 4, they did a review to see if this would interfere with the Norwood Drinking Source Water Protection Plan. And I did a quick little measurement, and so they said that the subject property is not located in an area that is subject to the policies contained in the Source Protection Plan. And so it's 10.1 kilometers away from the Norwood Water Tower property. So I agree with them that it's not a concern there neither. So it's not. So since then, so that was the main concern of the whole application, was that ORCA report. And since then, we've received on Wednesday, March the 3rd, Peterborough Public Health, they sent in a letter to us saying that they have no objections to the proposal. And then we also have a permit from MTO, which shows that they've issued the permit for the building and the land use permit. So again, I don't see any issues or concerns, and I'm willing to answer any questions that anybody might have.
Thanks, Ed. That was very in-depth for us, very much so. And just another sign that Asphodel-Norwood is willing to work with the applicants, and we try to make our growth better for the people. So you build it, they will come. Any questions from council at this time?
So,
Ed?
go ahead.
Candace, you're not council, but staff, you have something you'd like to put further, please?
Yes, Mayor, you won't be able to see it, but we do have Mr. Loist, who has is here with us and is attending the meeting. So just want to ensure you that you give him the opportunity to speak. If when the time comes at that point of the meeting, we do have someone with us.
Perfect. Well, we're almost there. There's no questions from council, I believe. Oh, there is a question. Councillor Walsh, please.
Just more clarity. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Ed, for taking through this very thoroughly. When we talk about the 2% lot coverage and the one building that's going to go up now, how many other buildings or how much larger of buildings would still be able to be built and fall within that 2% lot coverage?
I think we're probably allowed maybe another 10,000 square feet. I haven't done the calculation right to the last square foot, but it allows for some more growth too, because Mr. Loist has indicated that he has some amazing proposals that'll probably live within this 2%. That is, it is going to be great for the county of Peterborough as a whole, and for the township of Asphodel-Norwood. Like this is going to be a world-known site in my mind.
Okay, thank you very much.
Deputy Mayor Burt, you had your hand up, please.
Yeah, I did. I know we're all very familiar with the site and everything that's on it. At some point, I'm sure we've all been through those gates. And not so much a question, but I am in full support of the staff recommendations. So I was going to make a motion, but there's more that you need to do. So carry on, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other questions from council at this time?
No.
All right, seeing none, then the meeting of record basically as it stands, if there's persons in attendance that would like to speak in support of this. So welcome, Mr. Loist. I see your smiling face on my screen, but it's just a screenshot. But if you want to unmute yourself, if you'd like to say anything, then by all means, please do, sir. And if you were to unmute, it's on the screen down to your bottom left with your cursor, and it should just say mute or unmute. There you
Am
go.
I
Yes, you are.
unmuted?
There we go.
Yes, sir.
It feels great to be unmuted. So, no, I don't really have anything specific to say, but when we're thinking of plans for additional buildings, they don't exist on paper at the moment, but we do have some very valuable fossils along with other dinosaurs we haven't even opened up yet in those containers. We would like to see them out of there as well. But we have visions of having a dinosaur fossil museum on the property as well at some point. So.
Cool.
Okay, thank you, sir. Is there anyone on attendance that would speak in opposition to the application? No, there's no one else there. Okay.
No, Mayor.
Well, we've basically heard everything that we need to hear then. And thank you for investing in the township, Mr. Loist. Very much appreciated. And we have enjoyed that very much out there. So the recommendation then to council would be that the council of the Township of Asphodel-Norwood recommends approval of zoning bylaw amendment represented as ZBLA 02/2021, and further that the council of the Township of Asphodel-Norwood direct staff to prepare a bylaw that will amend the commercial exception 3C1-3 zone permit to a 2% lot coverage. A lot to say, but it's easy to lift your hand for a motion if you're willing. Councillor Archer and Councillor War, all in favor. And that's carried unanimous. Thank you very much, sir. And thank you very much, Ed, for that one. So I'm looking for a motion then for the adjournment of our public meeting, and the time would be at 2:17 p.m. and then we would reconvene into our regular council would resume. Motioned by Deputy Mayor Burt, seconded by Councillor Archer. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Okay, so we're back to our regular council meeting of Tuesday, March the 9th. Thanks for being patient with us. And Jeff Walden, our Manager of Public Works and Environmental Services. And this is regarding R9, which would be a tender 2021-02, purchase of a 12,000 liter slide-in water tank. Results, please, sir. You have the floor.
Great. So on March 1st, the tenders were open for the purchase of the slide-in water tank. The water tank's the one you'll see in the back of the plow trucks for spring, summer, and fall for road watering and dust control and grading. So it's replacing the 12-year-old poly tank. We had one bid from Husky Farm Equipment Limited. And as you can see, the total is $25,923 before HST, with the total of $29,293 with HST. Yeah, it's like I said, it's an integral part of our gravel road network, that's for sure. The grader and the water tank are hand in hand. So just looking for a replacement.
Okay, thanks there, Jeff. Councillor War, I see your hand, please.
Yes, through you, Mayor. Hi, Jeff. I guess it's time for a replacement. And I was just wondering what the life expectancy is on the new tank. And second to that, where do you draw water from with the tank? I know dust control is a big issue for a lot of the gravel roads.
Yep.
Thanks.
I guess first off, our main sources are, we have the boat launch points and some of the bridge points, either the ooze or the river. We have a couple points in the rural at some of the ponds. One is on the 8th line. It's actually a tile drain pond where Hickenbottom flows into. So actually they like us to pull water from there to help the fields drain. So that's one of our points. It's close when we're in that neck of the woods. We're pretty well set up with boat launches and river accesses. Like if we're on the east end, we've got Old Orchard Road. The west end, we've got Birdsall's or Asphodel Heights. Sometimes the park, we'll pull into the third line park at the creek. At the north end, we're at the bridge on the boundary by the 4th line.
Right.
We'll stop in there, we'll back in there. So that's kind of our points. And as far as the life expectancy goes, you would hope to 15 or 20 years on the steel tank. I think the key is with a steel tank is try to stay away from hauling your own calcium. chloride. You want to stay away from the highly corrosive stuff and just stick with water. Unfortunately, the poly tank was it was purchased just before I started here, just during, I forget how that went. I think we showed up at the same time, the tank and I. Anyways, yeah, it didn't. I thought that would have been the last tank we would have seen. I think we would have left at the same time too, but no, unfortunately, there was a design flaw in that poly tank, and it went from getting it fixed from leaks annually to getting it fixed from leaking weekly, sort of deal. So last year it was just, it's time. It's frustrating when the tanks start to leak. I don't mean to drag it on. When the tanks start to leak, as you're filling it and the water's pouring out, it's actually pounding a great big pothole in the road wherever you're sitting, sort of deals. So it just became a nightmare, and just repair after repair after repair. So we had to make that decision. But yeah, 15 to 20 years.
Thanks, Jeff.
Great. Any other questions from council at this time on this poly tank? Okay, seeing no hands, I'm looking for a motion then to receive for information, then to award the tender to Husky Farm for the purchase of the tank. Councillor War, seconded by Deputy Mayor Burt. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you, Jeff, on that one. So R10 would be, Jeff again, would be the cost sharing of provisional railings, Westwood Bridge replacement 2021.
Thanks. I tried to go back in the report in the beginning. As we're well aware, in 2015-16, the county received some news that the Westwood Bridge didn't do so well in its biennial inspection. I think we're all well aware of the timeline as we worked our way along with the PIC, and then some of the comments generated from the information session, just with the railing and the sidewalks and whatnot. And yeah, I mean, the comments were taken very serious. We looked at options for, we didn't, the county and their engineer looked at options for railings, and had proposed the modified parapet railing system to match the aesthetics of the existing railing system that's there now, which is the concrete, as opposed to the steel box beam railing system that was proposed as part of the construction. With any railing system that's over and above the original proposal, much like the Alma Street Bridge, it's the township's obligation to cover any costs over and above what the county is going to cost. So anyways, in January, the tenders were open for the bridge construction, which will happen this year. I'm not exactly sure the date. I'm sure they're going to have a startup meeting here right shortly, and that will get underway. So it was good news. The county's budget was $1.2 million for the bridge replacement. And the tender, the low bid was $922,462.51. And it was from a contractor that the county's familiar working with. So that's always good news. And as well as the estimated $20,000 cost for the over and above cost for the modified parapet railing, as opposed to the galvanized box beam. They had anticipated $20,000. Well, that had come in at just under $12,000 with $11,924. So when we had gotten the word and some of the costing back, the CAO hit the sidewalk. It started some negotiations, and yeah, it's actually for a dollar figure that it was a battle for the CAO, but she got there. So anyways, that's where we're here today. The county and the township have agreed to a 50-50 cost sharing arrangement. If council wishes to include the modified parapet concrete railing on the Westwood Bridge construction in 2021.
Thanks. Just a comment there that we just have to still take into consideration that this is a county bridge. It's not our bridge at all, but anyways, that's just a comment that I'm making now just to clarify. Councillor War, I seen your hand, please.
Yes, I would like to take this recommendation, thank staff for negotiating the cost sharing. I think it's important because it is one of the settlement areas within our township, and I do think it's a centerpiece of the village itself. And I look at over 75-year span, the cost of $5,900 would be less than $125 a year for something that I think will, stand the decades of time. So anyways, that's my comments, and I'd like to make the motion to accept it.
Okay, then we'll look for a seconder to that at this time. Councillor Walsh. Thank you. Is there any other discussion on the motion then? Councillor Walsh, please.
Yeah, through you, Mayor. I think I just want to echo Councillor Ward's comments that we do listen to the people. I think this is a very fair resolution. I think it's at times we were kind of being told we weren't listening, but we were listening. And when it comes down to trying to manage a $6,000 expense is a lot easier than trying to manage a $20,000 expense. So again, I thank Candace and the county for working together to what I think is a fair resolution for everybody.
Okay, thank you. Deputy Mayor Byrd, I seen your hand, please.
I can't add any more to that, so I'm done.
Is there anyone else with any comments on towards the motion? I'll just make one that I do want to commend staff for making that great effort. I mean, as much aggravation that this bridge has created over the last couple of years for staff and county staff too. Everyone's done a good job, and I'm looking forward to the beginning and especially to the end of this bridge. So thank you very much for your motion, and all in favor then, please. And that's carried unanimous, obviously. Very good. Thanks, Jeff, on that.
Thanks.
So I guess you're off the hook for the afternoon now for the council. Thank you. Okay, R11 then would be Candace White, our CAO Clerk Treasurer, would be R11, and this is regarding our Municipal Modernization Program intake number 2. Candace, the floor is yours, please, and you are muted. You're unmuted now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. So what is in front of council today is Municipal Modernization Program intake number 2. As council is aware, we were successful with the Municipal Modernization Program intake 1, which was presented to council a short while ago in the form of the line-by-line budget review by Strexer Harrop, which we are moving forward with implementing those recommendations, and all should be implemented within the next annual fiscal cycle. So time to move on to take another look at efficiencies and modernization opportunities within the township, as that's what the province is asking us to do. After careful consideration, one of the items that keeps coming up as we are growing and as we are modernizing is the township's software portfolio. And one thing that has come up is the longevity of our Keystone, which is our financial software, as it has been recently purchased. That company has been purchased out by a larger commodity, and we are unsure as to whether that software is going to continue into the long-term future, short-term future. We need to be investigating that, as well as taking a look at everything as a whole. We have county GIS, we have MESH, which council is aware, that's our work order system, our preventative maintenance program. Jeff uses it for road patrol monitoring. So we have that. We also have City Reporter. City Reporter takes into account playground inspections, facility inspections. It is now a paperless permitting for building permits and inspection software. So we have all of these silos that are happening. And I want to have a professional come in. We don't have that skill set on staff that is an IT professional that can take a look at the integration of all of these softwares and see if there's solutions out there that we can create efficiencies by integrating all of those software portfolios together. Maybe not all of them, maybe just some of them, but I do believe that there is opportunities there to make us more efficient, as well as not continue to purchase softwares that don't integrate to one another just because we don't have that skill set on staff. We are looking at a facility scheduler, which would take away the paper approach to facility rentals. That's the arenas, our halls, etc. That would integrate back into the financial software. So you rent the ice, you pay for the ice, then we're able to import a report directly into our software, which would balance the recreation, which would make our auditing process so much easier. So that is kind of what we're looking for support today, is that staff can submit this application. It is due on Monday, the 15th. It is an expression of interest that I will complete with council support. It is a fully funded project. I am going to probably be applying for more than what is stated in the staff report. So Mayor, if it's okay with you, we'll leave that amount out of the budget. Speaking with a provincial representative, I think there are some implementation opportunities there based on the recommendations. So we're going to bump that amount, the ask up prior to Monday. But just looking for council's thoughts and support to submit the application.
You heard our CAO. Any questions, council? All right, Councillor Walsh, please.
Through you, Mayor. Thank you very much, Candace. Yeah, I think every opportunity we can have to integrate systems together is great. Do we have any learnings from any other municipalities, either nearby or around, that maybe do have a system that's more integrated than what we have, or do we know?
That's a great question. We chat about it at CAO meeting, and I am aware we are all quite different. That being said, there's quite a few that use Keystone. Some are just migrating away from Keystone and going to the Diamond software, which is actually has fewer integration options than Keystone. Keystone has modules for bank reconciliation, dog licensing. It actually has a facility scheduler that can be integrated in. So ideally, Keystone will be moving into the future, but with the purchase, it's making us a bit nervous. So we need to investigate that. But yes, we are reaching out. I had a meeting this morning where I learned about a couple of other unique software solutions for facility schedulers. I am aware of other softwares across the board. So yes, I am aware of lots. We have all spoken to each other. Again, it boils down to not reinventing the wheel. I don't want to go back and have to retrain staff on everything. And I also don't want us to be a house of cards. So integration is great. Efficiencies are great, but I want to take it, we have some work to do, but I don't want us to be so integrated that if we are a house of cards, one thing, there's a glitch in one software somewhere, one update didn't go well, one update didn't get done through the back door, and then all of a sudden, every department just comes crashing down. And that is something that I'm extremely aware of, and that is why we need a professional and consultant brought on board to ensure that that house of cards, so to speak, isn't created, but any efficiencies that we do have, we're capitalizing them on. So we will be beg, borrowing, and stealing from the successes of our neighbors, of course, and also learning from their mistakes and misfortunes. So
Okay, awesome, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks. Deputy Mayor Burt, please.
Yeah, just in response to that, in my verbal liaison report that's coming up from the last county council meeting, there's a modernization funding that they're applying for too. Very similar recommendations from them, that they're looking forward to software programming and integration, and even looking into lower tiers and how some of that can be integrated. So I think that's on everyone's radar, and learning the successes and failures from other ones, that's how we move forward together. So just an additional comment from that.
Great. Anyone else at this time? I just have one comment that when you started talking about this, Candace, I just made note of this, that we finally found something that you might not be capable of doing.
You definitely found something that I'm not capable of doing.
I'm so happy. Now, it's an offhanded compliment, just how proficient you are. So thank you.
Oh, my pleasure, Mayor.
All right. So at this time, then, I'm looking for a motion then to receive and to authorize staff to submit the application as was recommended, even with the changes that were coming forward. Okay. Councillor Ward, Deputy Mayor Burt, all in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. We're just flying right along here. So R12 then would be Candace again, our CAO clerk treasurer. And this report is the results of our survey, and it's the survey number 1. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This is exciting. It's always nice to report back to council based on public initiatives. The community program coordinator has been busy at work behind the scenes with collecting data and engaging the public to find out, drilling down to find out exactly what it is that we need within the community as identified in the township's master recreation plan. As stated in the report, 337 responses were received. So it doesn't quite reach the maximum we've ever received, which was over 400, I believe, through strategic planning. But 337 nonetheless is a fabulous turnout. 175 were from families of school-age children, and 73 were from families from youth and teens. And I have to say, to date, even with the Master Recreation Plan outreach, that is the largest number of contributions we've received from families that have youth and teen age children. We tend to be more successful with the school age children, being able to garnish responses from them. So that was a pleasant surprise. As you can see in the report, we have broken it down by the age category, by the number of responses. You can see the 5 to 6 year olds. We've heard more from families with children in their household of that age. So 61 of the responses. It's a fairly high turnout, all the way down, broken out to 17 to 18 year olds even. We had 16 families respond. So a wide range across the board. As the mayor pointed out, this is survey number 1, because survey number 2, I have reviewed and signed off on the draft this morning and provided comments back to the program coordinator. So we are tweaking that, and it will be released, I suspect, the end of next week, the beginning of the following week. And it is the adult senior based survey. So we'll be looking at programming for adults and seniors specifically. We'll be drilling down into that demographic. Basically, the responses that we received are now going to feed program initiatives and program decisions, which council is going to start to roll out. You're going to see some things coming forward. Obviously, the pandemic is not making the rollout of what we had anticipated for the program coordinator in 2021 come to fruition. It has been a bit disappointing and disheartening. But needless to say, we will be good and ready to go when we are able to move forward. We are still in talks with the Excalibur program at Trent University. We are in talks with the Boys and Girls Club, another meeting with them, I believe, this Friday, and to look at for an extension of that program into the village of Norwood. They are looking for a Peterborough County initiative to expand their programs. We are looking at that. As well as some one-off short-term 6-week programs that are based outdoors. So a Saturday morning program or an evening program that is every Tuesday evenings, say, don't hold me to Tuesday, but I'm picking Tuesday evening for a 6-week program your child can attend. It is a drop-in, whether it's every week would be different depending on the interests of the registrants, and then a Saturday morning program. So we are going to start to see things roll out. We are focusing on outdoor programs as we are unsure when it will be safe to move indoors and when the township will actually be comfortable to move indoors, even if the province has lifted some of the restrictions. 2 different things there. You may see something move forward with the basketball court. We do have the outdoor basketball court there. So it's sitting there. We had a very successful hoops program ran within the township. So we'll be reaching out to those organizers to see if we can get something moving there. You will see a pretty impressive Trails Day initiative, Earth Day initiative, and as well as the I'm going to leave the other thing for the CAO list because it's really not pertinent to this. So I leave it with council for information. I felt it needed some verbal explanation, otherwise I would have just put it on the consent, but I wanted to just add a bit more depth to the report itself and to give council the opportunity to speak to it, as well as maybe the residents watching on YouTube would be aware of that we did take your feedback. It was greatly appreciated, and it's not for naught. You will see something come out of it. It doesn't just collect dust on a shelf. So we are listening, and we do take it exceptionally seriously. So thank you to the residents.
Thank you, Candace, for that report. Any questions or comments from council at this time? Councillor Ward, please.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. I just want to say that this is a bright spot in, in all these things that are so dark sometimes when we talk about COVID-related, activities being squashed. And I think that this is such a great initiative that's coming forward. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. Thank you.
It's exciting. You're welcome.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Burt, please.
Yeah, just really repeating Councillor Ward's comments. All the planning that goes into this. I know it wasn't quite the original plan at the start when the staff took over, but yeah, I'm excited to see what we can do. It was certainly a need that was highlighted during several surveys, and certainly out on the street, a need that was highlighted to have more programs within the township for our children, so they don't have to go to Peterborough or Campbellford or wherever they were going. So great work to all the staff, and looking forward to seeing the results.
Thank you for that. Anyone else from council? Okay, I just have a comment, and it's more on the light side of things. It's a kind of an internal joke, but the fact is that, like, when I looked at the survey for recreation, I didn't see anything in there about a wood chipper. So I just throwing that out there. Nothing at all that we could have fun with. So.
No wood chipper, no zip line, Mayor. Sorry.
Oh, I wasn't going to mention that other nasty word. So, but thank you for that, for bringing that forward. So for anyone that may be watching, there's still hope for me yet out there. Okay, so I'm looking for a motion then to receive this report for information then, please. Motion by Councillor Ward, seconded by Councillor Archer. All in favor, please. And that is carried. Thank you. R13, Candace, would be regarding your management action list from council, please.
Thank you, Mayor. So coming up on the 23rd of March, you're going to see nothing that I don't think council needs to be too concerned about. Seems to be a pretty decent meeting. And then moving into April, we've got items highlighted all the way up to the 22nd of June. Municipal tax rate bylaws. Now, the county's adopted theirs. If they've taken their tax rate bylaw forward, that'll come. It may get pushed to April depending on timing. Probably the biggest thing will be the strategic plan kickoff for 2022 to 2025. I'm a little disappointed, I'll be honest with you. I enjoy the strategic planning process, specifically when it's in person. We do a lot of fun and innovative tasks to drill down and get to where we want to see the strategic vision to be for the township. I have to say it's going to lose its luster on Zoom. So it's going to be a bit more technical in nature comparison to what it has been in the past when it was in person, as we were able to have chart paper and different colored Post-its and, you know, just definitely more engaging. So we're going to get it done. It's a process that needs to be done because our strategic plan is coming to an end. Some of it will just move forward. Some of the items due to the pandemic were not able to be completed that were identified in the strategic plan. They'll just be transferred over into the new strategic plan. But I do feel there's going to be a sense of change of direction a little bit as the township is in a different position. The house is in order. So we're in a different position than we were in 2017 when we were looking at that 2018 strategic plan. I do suspect you'll see a slight change in direction there. So that is exciting. We will be engaging the public as we did before. The business community will receive the survey. It'll go out to the residents as well. We would have held focus groups like we did in the past. Obviously, that is not going to be able to move forward. So definitely a more technical approach to strategic planning than what we'd like. So I am proposing, and we'll see how council feels about it once we get together on this topic, but as a heads up, maybe just a 2-year plan. I think it's to bring things back in maybe a year sooner than what we normally do. Just with the pandemic, I think a lot of stuff's going to get sewn up in that first year, because once the pandemic is over, we'll be able to accomplish those things very quickly. And then we'll be able to get into a decent exercise at that time and see where we're at. But I will bring that forward to council at the time. You can see some stuff down in 2021, Earth Day, Trails Day. I'll talk about that in my CAO list. Some of that stuff's going to come off because excavator replacement, water tank replacement, they're all done. So yeah, I'll give it to council if you have any questions. It's going to be a big year.
Questions, council? Comments? Okay, seeing no hands, my comment then, you mentioned about the 2-year plan, Candace, where would that fall on a new council after the fact then, say?
After their first year.
Yeah, okay.
They'd have 1 year in, so it's actually pretty nice timing.
Yeah, not too bad then. Okay, yep,
Yeah.
thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
All right, no questions then, so I'm looking then for a motion then to accept as suggested, please. Councillor Ward, Councillor Walsh, seconded. All in favor, please. And that's carried. Thank you. Okay, correspondence for action then. C10 is the City of St. Catharines, and this is regarding universal paid sick days in Ontario. What's council's comments or thoughts on this one, please? We would either motion to receive and support or motion just to receive. Deputy Mayor Burt, please.
I'll just do a motion to receive for this. There's a lot of moving parts in this, and yeah, motion to receive for now.
Do we have a seconder on that? And Councillor Archer. Is there any other discussion on this topic? Seeing none, all in favor then, please. And that is carried. C11 would be the City of Sarnia regarding the color-coded capacity limits. Council's wishes on this one. Councillor Ward, please.
To receive it, I think as well that each health department and in each region makes those decisions, not us.
Good comment. Thank you. Any other? I'll take a seconder for that. Deputy Mayor Burt, I see your hand. Is there any discussion on that motion then? Seeing none, all in favor, please. And that's carried. Thank you. Okay, Councillor Liaison reports. Who'd like to start? Councillor Ward, please.
Through you, I just want to report that I was at an ORCA meeting on February 18th, and I have another one coming up on March 18th. There was some reviews of some of the policies and fees, and I will forward those and have it into each of to Candace so that she can put it into the minutes. The other thing, I just wanted to say that they have opened up the online campsite for ORCA, and it was available March 1st. And I think that those campsites will be filling up very quickly this year. And also a reminder that March 21st is the last day for the tree seedling program, which is also available online through ORCA. They've also updated their digital platform. It's the website looks pretty good. So if anyone wants to take a look, and you can access the minutes of previous meetings. So that's my update. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ward. Anyone else at this time? Deputy Mayor Burt, please.
Yeah, just a quick update. We did have another county council meeting. You do have the one report. The other one was on March 3rd. And I mentioned the modernization funding in 2 different streams, county IT GIS master plan for integrated software, tracking software. And the second one would be implementation of CAD link software for the paramedic system to improve response times, decrease paramedic documentation times, and a number of different things in there. So that's that. We did receive a county official plan update about public safety, and that will be coming across our desk. There is a pretty in-depth report from Peterborough Public Health Review by Board Chair Andy Mitchell. And then there's also a notice of motion, and Peterborough Housing will make a delegation to County Council at our next meeting. I'm sure you've heard some stuff in the news about that. So just some highlights from the previous meeting. And Melanie, I will send that to you written so that you don't have to worry about it. And just one other thing. There was a library board meeting last night. I thought I had my book in the room with me, but I don't, so I won't give you any details, but we do seem to be getting regular reports from the library CAO. So I'll leave it to get that report next month. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Anyone else at this time? Okay, thank you. On to now the CAO Clerk Treasurer's list. Candace, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to move forward with the theme of public engagement and reaching out to our residents, I just want to let council know that there is going to be an addition to our website homepage. We are adding a social media feed component. So those residents who do internet and look up websites, but they don't enjoy social media so much and don't have accounts on social media, you are going to be able to see our social media feeds on our webpage and see those messaging up and going. So that's going to keep people interacting on a more up-to-date and more current basis. So that's exciting. The other side project that I'm working on is the township app, as well as the citizen portal. You will see those come to fruition probably in second quarter. So basically what it's going to be is the Township of Asphodel-Norwood app is going to be available in the Apple Store or Google Play. You'll be able to download it. You'll be able to access all sorts of information from, just touch a button, garbage recycling information, transfer station hours, all those types of things, as well as access to the citizen portal. What the citizen portal is basically, it's another platform on our website. The residents will be able to create an account. And when they log into their account, they'll be able to see their water, sewer, utility bill balance, their tax balance, all sorts of information in regards to their property. They'll be able to pay their bill directly through that citizen portal, which will then take away a lot of the, that's a lot of phone calls we get actually into the offices. What's the balance of our bill? How can I pay my bill? Those types of things. So the citizen portal will start engaging residents more so. If anything, we've learned through the pandemic is we need things to be accessible, as well as the residents really want to pay their bills by credit card. And we don't have that ability right now. So the e-commerce solution on our website will allow the township to be able to offer that service. So that's very, it's going to integrate a lot of things. The ability, Melanie and I sat in on a training session on the citizen portal this morning. It's kind of endless. Actually, the opportunities are endless. We're going to start small. We're going to start focused on just the issues that are coming forward for our residents. We'll really start pushing for residents to start logging into this. Then it's another way for citizens to learn about where they live. Create this account. You can go in, you can learn about your property, you can learn about the township, you can learn about anything you want outside of hours. You don't have to call Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 4:30. So it's going to be an accessibility tool. The final audit, the 2020 audit, is scheduled for next week. So we will be in the office with the auditors Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because that's when the team B is in, and team B is the finance team. So that is when we'll be in the office working with the auditors on that. So I will be contact me if you need me, but I'll be kind of immersed in that obviously next week. I also want to let council know we are getting a third round of COVID relief funding in the amount of $35,818. So this is the third round. So that is great. The provincial government continues to recognize that the township does need a helping hand to ensure that we have sustainable essential services. So thank you very much to them for that. The community business recreation on the brain, business community recognition awards are going to be moving forward, and I do suspect we will be ready to release it by the end of this month. If not, maybe we'll give it a nice clean date of April 1. No, it won't be a Fool's Day joke. It will be a fantastic outreach. We are doing a COVID related theme, basically how our businesses and our community has persevered and maybe reinvented themselves due to the pandemic, or been a helpful neighbor, etc. So there is going to be some outreach to the public in regards to that. Nomination forms, everything's going to be done virtually, everything's going to be done remotely, but even still, I think we can do something pretty fabulous with it to recognize some businesses and organizations and members of our community that have had persevered throughout this pandemic. So really excited about that. Further information will probably come forward to council on March 23rd. And speaking of which, the committee that was put together back in 2019, because originally we were going to release these awards in 2020, and then because we wanted 2020, you know, the first year was a nice round year to kick this program off, but with the pandemic that didn't work out. So just looking to see if there was a maximum of 2 members of council that want to sit on the selection committee. Township staff are running the program, but wouldn't mind having some council representatives on a maximum of 2, because we don't need to turn this into quorum into a council meeting every meeting. So just the selection, to sit on the selection, because obviously we're going to have to choose the award winners based on the nominations received. So I will leave it if you want to send me an email to state that you're interested, and I can talk with the mayor and let the couple members of council know, let council know who's been selected. If multiple people want to be on it, that would be great. Any questions on any of that before I keep going?
Councillor,
Because I'll forget where we're at. So.
You know me, through you, Mayor. Always have a question. Candace, great news on the 35,800 and change COVID relief funding. Is there specific areas that needs to be used in, or like, do we have an action plan at this point as to how we will spend those monies?
So a couple things. Obviously, it has continued to fund the signage requirements. We had to redo all of the signage when we reopened at the community center. So we have got some pretty good costs there. Changes in PPE, because everything was changed to medical grade, so we do have some increased costs there in PPE. The cleaning has continued to be ongoing. So I really, before I want to give a concrete answer, I think we kind of need to see where this pandemic is going to land as a whole, and how much longer it's going to go on for. Some of the initiatives that we're putting in place for electronic accessibility is eligible under the COVID funding. Okay. So such as this citizen portal, COVID funding could fund it, okay. Which then it doesn't hit the township budget, as well as any decision that has been made from a staffing perspective. So any decision internally that's been made for staffing, operations, all of that is being fully funded by the province. So I do suspect we'll see a surplus at the end, and maybe we'll be able to take an opportunity to take a look at that and see if we can assist the business community with some initiatives on their end, and maybe set up some sort of a grant type program with any funds that are left over. So stay tuned.
Okay, fair enough.
I guess.
Okay. Any other questions before Candace carries on? Seeing no hands, go ahead, Candace.
Doctor recruitment. I also just wanted to let council and take an opportunity to let the public who are watching know that yes, we're hearing you. Doctor recruitment is definitely a priority of the township. It isn't our sole responsibility. It isn't our sole ability to solve the problem, but we are a player at the table. And I've been actively participating in those conversations as of late. That does include succession planning for our beloved Dr. Keogh, as well as capacity building into Norwood for the growth. And there's 8,000 patients in Peterborough County that is not assigned an actual family doctor. Positive things have happened in the last couple of weeks. Strides have been made in that arena. So I just wanted to let you know, doctor recruitment, even though we're going through COVID, even through all of this, it is taking up time in all of our lives, and we are having conversations, and we are meeting, and we're getting to the point of establishing a committee. We are talking about a new medical center in Norwood. All of those conversations are happening, and for the first time in a long time, I'm feeling positive about it. So I just wanted to pass that positivity on to council. As well as Trails Day. What's coming out for Trails Day is a 10,000 step challenge. So that 10,000 step challenge will be coming up, and hopefully get people out and moving into the trail systems that we do have available in Asphodel-Norwood, the Mill Pond Forest Trails, as well as the Great Trails. And we are challenging our residents to do 10,000 steps that day. Earth Day, we are putting out a survey through the Survey 123 app. And what that's going to be is challenging, I guess, residents. There's a point system. So if you share a photo of your composter, that's 5 points. If you build a birdhouse, it's this many points. If you spend the day taking recyclable materials and your children build a project out of it, it's this many points. And people will be able to log on and build points. And then obviously the families with the highest number of points and how they've spent their Earth Day based on the predetermined activities, obviously will receive a nice prize that'll probably be Earth Day driven. And that's it for me, Mayor.
Question on Earth Day.
Today.
Question
Yes.
on Earth Day then, is that, I know we've done a lot of interesting things around our township, and we've got a lot of disappointment in the outskirts of our township, like residents for Duro-Dummer wish they could be part of something. So is this strictly just for Asphodel-Norwood residents for Earth Day?
Okay, Cal. Okay, Mayor. So yes, it is a challenge. We do have residents who are not property owners in Asphodel-Norwood who do wish to participate in our programs, who also maybe use Norwood as their community hub. So it is a bit sensitive, but we have to have a limit. We have to have, that bar set, that because if you allow one property owner to participate that is outside of the Asphodel-Norwood boundaries, how are we supposed to then limit that or control that? And really the taxpayers of Asphodel-Norwood are paying for these initiatives.
Yeah.
So they should be reaping the rewards of that. So it's a tough conversation. We always encourage those residents to go back to their own municipality and ask maybe for these programs to be ran there with their staff and with their taxpayer dollars.
Yeah, thanks for that. I didn't mean to put you on the spot on that one, but it's just clarification for the residents out there that so if somebody does look at this as the video, that it's explained, simple. Sorry, but it is just township. So, yep, simple as that. Thanks for that. Questions or comments to our CAO on her list? Anyone? Okay, seeing no hands, then we'll move on then. Thank you, Candace, for your list. General business then, please. Who would like to start off on general business? Anything? Deputy Mayor Burt, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to address Candace with the region moving into red on Monday, where our community center usage stands.
Yes, so we did receive notification from Norwood Minor Hockey or Norwood Minor Sports after their executive meeting last night that they wish to continue on with the season with this skills and drills only approach, in hopes that at the end of the 2 weeks they would be able to, we would be out of red, and then they would be able to hold a round robin. I don't even know if you'd call it that, because it would only be with Autonomy, because they're the only ones left. So I can report to council, I have reached out to all of our neighbors. Duro-Dummer ice is out, Salwin's ice is out, Havelock, Beaumont, Methuen ice is out. Apsley's Minor Hockey is out, but they run a municipal figure skating program that the municipality runs themselves. So they're going to let that run out for another week or two, and then they'll be pulling their ice, but there is no minor hockey in Apsley. Kevin Monaghan is reduced hours Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and really condensed their users' opportunities there. The only other one, and obviously we're making decisions today, Autonomy South Monaghan is the only facility in Peterborough County that is the minor hockey has decided to move forward, and they are keeping a full docket of ice. So I think what has happened is because of that, they have reached out and they want to work with Norwood Minor Hockey in hopes to have a couple of games, maybe at the end of the month. I can tell you we've lost all of our seniors leagues, all of our men's leagues, all the ladies leagues. A couple of other renters from Peterborough, like subsidiary rentals that like PGHA, the Peterborough Girls Hockey Association, PHA, they do have hockey in our ice time in Norwood. They're reducing it. Then we're also getting calls on the flip side because all these other arenas are closing. Those few organizations from Peterborough are looking at to pick up a couple of hours of ice here or there. So we seem to be having to turn on a dime every 7 days or so for the most part. And ultimately, normally our ice comes out March 31st. We have talked about extending that into the April 15th if we have the user demand. I'm telling you, unless minor hockey continues, the Peterborough groups are done March 31st, like because Peterborough and those larger centers don't keep their ice in past the end of March because they have other like lacrosse and other things that come in that takes those spaces, so they can't extend their ice. You know, from a staffing perspective, we're making it work every day, so we're just I guess looking for direction based on the minor hockey decision that they want to try to get enough teams together and for skills and drills. They have stated that obviously they're getting some a bit less turnout because there's no scrimmages, there's no internal play, so that there is loss of interest. So I will leave it for council for your discussion, questions, and debate.
I got a flash of hands from everywhere. Councillor Warren first, please.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor. I was just wondering, is it financially viable to continue having the ice in even for that short amount of time? With what you said, maybe some of the user groups have decided not to continue. And do we even want to explore the option of having groups come in from the Peterborough area at this time? Just a question.
Okay, so two parts. First part is financially feasible. We've been running the facility on a shoestring for the most part. I can tell you that we would have to condense the hours and we would make it, we wouldn't allow there to be pockets of time. So there wouldn't be a game or a rental at 4 and then leave the ice blank for 3 hours and then some at 7. They would either move to 6 or you lose your rental. We would have to condense everything down. But it's hard to predict that because I got to go back out to all the users based on everything that's happened in the last 48 hours, go back out to all the users, talk to them, see if they're willing to change their ice time to move into a slot so that we have like 4 or 5 hours straight instead of these random pockets. Because as people are pulling out, that's what it's creating, right? These random blank spaces of time where I can't say, oh, have the staff come in for 2 hours, send you home for an hour and bring you back. Like that doesn't work. So the staff, once they come in, they're there. So the financially feasible question, I don't think it would be any less feasible than any other year, other than there's a fair bit of work that's going to have to go into renegotiating that schedule, which could impact minor hockey. That conversation has not happened as of yet because I don't know all of the impact. Allowing other teams come in, I believe we had league play that we had stopped until March 8th. Obviously that date has come and gone and it has been replaced with the provincial regulation that is not allowing league play up until the very least March 22nd, depending on what happens in our area. As you know, we continue to add cases in Peterborough Public Health area, and basically 90% of our cases are variants of concern. So that is all going to come into the conversation with the province. and my crystal ball is broke. So I have no idea what's going to happen on the 22nd.
Thank you.
Yeah, Councillor Archer, you had your hand up.
My question's answered.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Burt, please.
I'm just going to make this pretty simple, and I am going to make a motion, and then discussion can carry on to address the motion. And I am going to make the motion that the ice be removed in the Asphodel-Norwood Community Center in light of all of the discussion that has just taken place. And yeah, and I'll leave it at that for now.
So you're not putting a specific timeline on that? Staff would have lots of learning.
I won't put a specific timeline on that because that's operational and that's up to staff because it takes time to do all that. So I will, leave that end of it to staff, but they know the conditions and what needs to be done best. So I will leave the deadline. I'm sure it won't be a long one, but and obviously they have to contact all the user groups too. So I won't put a date on it. That's just the motion.
Okay, it's operational. Thanks for that.
Yep.
So there's a motion. Do I have a second there then, Councillor Moore?
I would, through you, Mayor, I would second that motion. I think with the amount of variance and the unpredictable, like we just don't know. As Candace said, we don't have a crystal ball. I think it's wise to pull the ice. I would second that motion.
Okay, is there any other discussion with the motion, towards the motion then? Councillor Walsh, please.
Yeah, through you, Mayor. I struggle on this one, but we don't have that. I'm like Candace said, we don't have that crystal ball. So if I'm correct right now, we're going to remain in red until March 22nd, or potentially dial up to gray or lockdown. So
Yes.
that's basically the better part of 2 weeks. And are we then at that point going to be comfortable that we want to basically open it back up to current stage 1 or a remodified stage 1? So I struggle, but to your point, we have worked this plan over and over again to try and accommodate. By the sounds of it, we're down to basically one user group, which is our minor sports group. It's going to be a challenge to condense the schedule. It's a lot of work at both ends, and I'd really sit here and wonder, with maybe 4 weeks at the very most of skills and drills, possibly only, whether it's worth maintaining the ice. Just my comment.
Anyone else that would like to speak towards the motion? Okay, I'll just make a motion that you're right, it is operational. It falls under basically our code of conduct as far as how we position ourselves as far as councillors are concerned, going forward with something like this, that tough decisions have to be made, and they have to be made as a whole of council. I can't stress this enough, that even if someone were to not approve this motion, that when we do have the motion and it is passed or not passed, that we still abide by what the whole of council has made for that decision. So basically at this time, then I will ask, there's a motion on the floor, it's seconded. I have to see a show of hands if it's, oh, you have a comment, Councillor Archer?
Question I was wondering, so we just can't come up with a date though, to put on it, like when we would like to pull the ice, like, or are we just gonna leave it to operational, like, or that's the way you want it? I just wondered if there could be an end, like the date, like rather than.
Deputy Mayor Burt, was your motion?
I was just going to ask Candace, like, I'm sorry, I don't have a calendar in front of me. I think today's the 9th. They have to get in touch with all the user groups, obviously staff, like, does that take 3 days? I don't know the process of doing this, and let's face it, we haven't really done this before. No. So I'm deferring that to staff. That's why I didn't put a date on it. Certainly it's not, a full week from now. That's not my intention. So I'll refer to Candace, and then we can discuss a date if that's okay.
Candace, you want to give us some ideas as to what it would take in order, if this motion did pass, that's what we're still talking about, how long you staff would need in order to implement what the motion is calling for?
I guess my first initial thoughts would be probably, I have to go out to the users, but it's so hard to make decisions without knowing what their intentions are. Ultimately, I would probably suspect after the last rental on Sunday, we would shut the plant down. That would give, then that takes into to turn it on a dime. It gives the staff there an opportunity to deal with their maybe personal circumstances. It allows the user groups there to reach out to their membership. So we're not saying, okay, the kids are excited to play hockey tomorrow, but they're not going to the arena tomorrow night. You can say, okay, you're playing ice till Sunday night's nice and clean. Off the top of my head, that's what I've got for you. I would say Sunday night after the last rental, you shut the plant down if that's council's wishes.
Okay, who has the date on their calendar? Barry, I seen you looking at a calendar.
14th.
March 14th, Sunday, March 14th.
So after the last rental, Deputy Mayor Burt, you made the motion. Is there
Yeah, I can add that to the motion then. You know, the end of the day or evening or midnight. Sorry, what was the date again? Sunday, March 14th?
After the last rental on Sunday, March 14th.
Sunday, March 14th. And hopefully that works. I know you can't shut it down as soon as this meeting is done. And I know there's a process. So that's why I left the date open. But if you think that's going to work, that's what I will go with, Sunday, March 14th after the last rental.
Okay, procedurally, Candace, I had to ask a question that the motion was first put on the floor, but she did leave it open to a certain extent to say that this is what I would do, but we need to have a bit on this discussion. We're not going out of our bounds on this, that she's basically amended her motion now, and that we are.
She did amend her motion, yeah.
Yeah.
You would have been better off, Mayor, to call the vote on her original motion and have it not be successful and then have her re-put the vote. Otherwise, we got to make a motion. She needs a motion to amend her motion.
That's okay.
Yeah, so she needs a motion to add the March 14th date to her motion.
So on the first motion, then we would ask that it's all. Oh, sorry.
You have to do a motion to amend.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So we need a motion to amend her motion then. Thank you.
So I will do that.
Councillor Burt, Deputy Mayor Burt, and seconded by Councillor War. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Now, we're looking for an amended motion that you've made with the proper date on it, I guess, is what we're looking for.
Your original mover and seconder stand.
Okay.
So you just need to finish discussion and call the vote.
Right. Is there any more discussion on this motion then as the date has been set? Seeing no hands. Oh, wait, there is hands now. Councillor War, please.
It's just a comment. I just want to everyone to know that it's not an easy decision and that we think about staff, not having hours, working hours as well. So I just wanted to make that comment.
Thank you. Councillor Walsh, you had your hand up, please.
Yeah, and I'm comfortable, and I like the Sunday, March 14th, because if it was a date that we say tomorrow, at least this way allows, there still could be concerns of safety in the arena till Sunday, but it at least allows our current users a little bit to develop and plan an end game, knowing that Sunday, March 14th is the last day versus being told your ice is done today. So we're trying to do our best to work with everybody and to Councilor War. It is about the safety of staff, our user groups, our whole community, and potentially anybody else coming into work. So tough decision, but I think it's the right one.
Thank you. And Councillor Archer, you had your hand up, please.
Yeah, I just had one other question. Does that allow everybody that has been using it pretty well a chance to use it between now and Sunday night? Like by doing that, we probably have enough time that they'll all at least get one more time.
Yeah, so all of our Monday night was men's league. It's done.
Right.
So other than that, it's just minor hockey. And so they'll obviously have other times. I will leave it up to them to ensure that all of their teams get an opportunity to play or hit the ice one more time or two more times before Sunday night. I'm glad council agrees. Off the top of my head, I think Sunday night makes the most sense if we're moving to this direction. I will draft an appropriate letter to the user groups based on the decision, and I will get that out the door. Obviously, as soon as this meeting is over, it'll be my first task. And then I will be speaking with the staff so that they're aware as well.
Perfect.
Yeah, thank you for that. Deputy Mayor Burt, you had a comment?
Yeah, just a comment, and I'm sure everyone knows this, but yeah, this is not an easy decision to make. It's certainly been over everyone's head since, you know, December. So sending a thank you to all our user groups for understanding. They may not like it, but I hope in the end they do understand. And certainly sending a huge thank you to staff. It's been a tough year for them with you know, certainly losing Greg's presence in management and the new cleaning protocols and PPE, and then we basically asked them to you know, police the arena with all these protocols, and we put them in a pretty difficult situation, and they did a great job. So Candace, if you could send that out to staff as well. I'm sure all of council feels the same way. And anyway, it's certainly not a way you wish to end the hockey season or the ice season, but I think it's a decision that needed to be made, and hopefully, well, we haven't voted yet, so we'll see where this lands.
Candace, you had your hand up there.
Yes, Deputy Mayor, will definitely pass on your thank yous and your thoughts to the staff. They have been invaluable in ensuring that this season has moved forward in the capacity in which it has. They are a tremendous group of people, so I will definitely pass that on. Although this season has come to an unfortunate end in the way, and unfortunate being in the way in which it's happened, but a pandemic has a funny way of doing that to you. But I would, we will be looking forward to hoping next season, if we are in a different position, that we will be hopefully to be able to do some pretty exciting things there at the community center to give back to all of these user groups that held in, and the staff that held in there. So whether we are able to put the ice in a little bit earlier, because they always want the ice to go in. Soon as back to school starting, they want the ice in. So all of that is going to be on the table for discussion. If we can accommodate that so they can claw back a little bit of ice time that's been lost, that's what we'll do.
Perfect.
Thank you. All right, well, there's a motion on the floor, duly seconded. I'll see a show of hands. All in favor then, please. Okay, that's been carried, unanimous. All right, anyone else have anything under general business at this time? Seeing no hands, I was thinking of something myself, actually, when we were talking about stuff, and it's not on any of the motions, but when I mentioned something about the code of conduct or the responsibilities of how council is in the public eye, I just wondered, I'll ask Candace, if there's something that we can't do in the near future or whatever, that we could bring back anything, whether it be enclosed or open, that we can refresh our duties as far as how councillors represent themselves, or how we do with our code of conduct as far as public's concerned, or something like that. I'm just asking you if there's some way we could just, it's 2 years in the term, if we bring back some form of a refresher for council going forward.
Yes, I get on, it is halfway through a term. It is quite common. Outside of the pandemic, I can tell you, Mayor, that there would have been a halfway through the term training session, just refresher. I mean, you mentioned the code of conduct. That by no means is the only item or topic of discussion that would need to be brought forward as a refresher. So if you're asking if we could hold a training session as we're halfway through the term on certain items that we feel potentially, it's not even training per se, I guess, because you've all been trained. You're doing a fabulous job. Managing a corporation through a pandemic is never easy. But there is definitely some things coming up down the pipe that maybe we could touch on and normally training of counselors does happen in closed session, yes. So it would happen in a closed session environment. And maybe council, if you want to reach out to me via email about any bylaws or policies or procedures or even legislation, regulations, acts that is in play or that has changed throughout the pandemic, or that is new within this term, because we all know that they change all the time. Send me an email. I will add it I'll create a slide deck and I'll add it, and we'll go back at it and we'll give another refresher. So if there's anything that you want to touch on again, you've got your USB keys that have all the documents, take a look at it. And if there's anything there that you feel needs to be updated, or maybe through the pandemic, we have, got a little bit loose or behind on, let me know, and I can add it. Is that what you're looking for, Mayor?
Yeah, well, it wasn't.
Because I would
that
like some
long
direction
ago.
from the counselors as to items that they would like to be refreshed on.
Yeah, thanks. It just
Okay.
wasn't that long ago. We had a refresher course with our integrity commissioner at the county, and I
Yep,
found it very, very just a nice refresher, just to let us know what our duties and responsibilities are going forward. And I think we're 2 years in. It doesn't hurt to have a refresher just to brush us up on what we're doing, and maybe even help me with our closed session items and one thing after another is how to bring a motion forward proper, again, just to help refresh my memory, things like that. So
Section 239, Mayor, Section 239.
there's one thing we
Put it under your pillow, Section 239.
Yeah, let it sink in.
Okay, so, just anything else under general business, or anyone have any comments on what I was just brought forward? Councillor Ward, please.
Through you, Mayor, I find it interesting you brought that up. I believe the Ontario Newsroom released a news release on March 5th, and it launches consultation, to strengthen municipal codes of conduct. So I think it's 2 years into the term, it's time for a refresher. I just wanted to thank for that.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. Bill 68, which was before this term of council, basically changed the way the expectations of a counselor and the role of a counselor, what a counselor was 20 years ago is not what a counselor is today. The roles and responsibilities and mandate has greatly changed. And Bill 68 did that. And I think what they're going to do, obviously through the pandemic, I think there's been some very publicized events that are going to cause the province to go back to that and tighten Bill 68, the Code of Conflict again. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
But yes, if you want to email me any thoughts and things that you would like to touch up on, by all means, Mayor, I'll make it happen.
Thanks for that. It's just like, I'm going to blame Deputy Mayor Burt for that, because she brought up the organizational thing there at the one time, and one thing after another. And then I said the code of conduct earlier about how we're a united front as far as council's concerned when we make our decisions and going forward. This is a real privilege and an honor to be working with you as a group, and as staff too, as a good group in our township. And we're recognized out there in the county, and people are taking notice of how we run our business and day-to-day operations. So thanks to all. Okay, we don't need a motion on that to bring something forward. That's just something that'll be brought forward as far as general business is
Yeah,
concerned.
I think a motion would be good.
You want a motion on that?
Yes,
Okay,
I would, please.
I'd have to step down to make the motion, so I would ask a councillor if they would like to, or the deputy mayor if they'd like to bring a motion forward. Councillor
I'll
Walsh.
put on the floor, Mayor, that we will have a refresher course based on the needs of council at a closed session in the future, near future.
Thank you. And do I have a seconder on that? Councillor Ward, please. All in favor, or any other discussion on that? No, all in favor then. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you. So anything else under general business at this time? Okay, seeing no hands, then there's no notices of motion. Then I will ask our clerk then to read our bylaws, please, Candace.
Thank you, Mayor. Being a bylaw to amend bylaw number 2009-08 as amended, being a bylaw to regulate the use of land and the use and erection of buildings and structures within the township of Asphodel-Norwood, be read a first, second, and third time in numbered bylaw 2021-15.
Motion by Councillor Archer and seconded by Councillor Walsh. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. And a confirming bylaw, please.
Being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the regular meeting of the Council of the Township of Asphodel-Norwood held on March 9th, 2021, be read a first, second, and third time in numbered bylaw 2021-16.
All right, motion by Deputy Mayor Burt, seconded by Councillor Archer. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. And the toughest one of them all is the recommendation that the meeting held on March 9th, 2021 be adjourned at 3:31 with the council to meet for a regular meeting on March 23rd, 2021, or at the call of the chair. Motioned by Councillor Walsh, seconded by Councillor Archer. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. And thank you very much, staff. Thank you very much, council. There was a lot we had to do on our agenda here, and very proficient, and we're doing well for the township. That's all I can say. Thanks. And have a good evening and be safe.
Same to you.
All right.